Coast Guards used the camera to rescue a 15-year-old boy who'd gone missing somewhere on the rocks at the base of the Portland Bill Cliffs in Dorset.
And we were searching up and down on the west side of Portland for about an hour. We were offset from the shore, looking down at the bottom of the cliff, the sides, the top of the cliff, trying to locate him.
The terrain made the ground search very difficult. The boy could have been trapped in any of the gaps between the rocks. The ground search team kept shouting to the boy, but were not getting a response.
James! James! The winch operator suggested, after we'd been up and down 6 or 7 times, to look vertically down. That's when we spotted him.
Contact. Got him. Well done. Not moving. He's in the rocks. Move 25 yards ahead.
The helicopter guided the ground search team to where the boy was lying.
5 yards. Terry. Okay, he's waving. Yep.
We weren't sure whether he was alive or dead at this stage, and it was a relief to hear after a while that he was alive and conscious. So I was then winched down to James with a stretcher. It was quite clear that he needed to be taken off to hospital fairly quickly. He was very lucky, and without the heat-seeking camera, I think that he probably wouldn't have been found.
When you're on holiday and the weather's nice, it's easy to forget how dangerous the sea can be. What started out as a bit of fun for Matthew Power and James Hewitt nearly ended in tragedy. Once again, an infrared camera played a vital part in their rescue.
We just decided to go down the beach, so just chilling out, doing this and that, messing around a little bit.
Single surfing is where you just get a surfboard and just go down the stones. It's good fun.
You don't fall off the floor, that is.
Yeah.
The sea was just really inviting. Well, our friend had a couple of kayaks or canoes, so we just decided just to go out for a little paddle in them. There was this big marker buoy, probably about half a mile or so out.
The sea was calm and just thought nothing would happen.
We didn't take any safety equipment with us, no life jackets or flares or anything like that, because it just didn't cross our mind. We just had our normal clothes on.
I found that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Matthew was getting ahead of me.
Slow down! And when eventually we met up, we were about, I guess, half a mile out, maybe. And just sat there for, was it 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Just talking, just sort of chatting, enjoying, the peacefulness and the sunset and everything. Really nice it was. We see that it's starting to get darker. I guess it must have been about 9:30, so we both decided it was time to head back to shore.
As they tried to go back, they didn't realise that the tide was carrying them out to sea, and James was now beginning to struggle.
And I suddenly looked behind me, and James had basically hardly moved at all. Come back! So, the idea that if we tied to the canoes together, then we could both travel back to shore in tandem. And it slowed me down a bit, but it speed James up. I got out of my kayak, but when I got there, I found out there was some rope on one of the canoes, but there was no hole on the other one to tie it to. I guess we should have checked beforehand, but we didn't think of it. So I swam back round to my canoe, heaved myself up onto it, but as soon as I put my weight on top of it, it just filled with water. So I held on to some rope at the back of James's canoe, and he started to paddle, just tugging me along, basically.
I just really didn't realise that that was going to be such a problem. Matthew's grip slipped.
James, come back!
And as I turned round, my canoe tipped over.
James!
It's only a situation where we're both in the water. It was starting to get dark, we're in the middle of the sea, and we were starting at that time getting quite cold. We realised we were in a lot of trouble. We did try holding on to canoes and swimming, but we made no headway at all because the current was taking us out.
We were both basically stuck there.
It was just ridiculous, a situation, how close we were to land, just about half a mile away. We were both fit and everything, there's nothing wrong with us. It's just everything we tried to do to help ourselves, to get ourselves back to shore, wasn't working. We were just in a situation where the tide was coming out, so we had no chance.
Help! Help us!
Suddenly comes a point where you can see the end of your life a few hours away.
Somebody help us! No, calm down, it's all right.
And you just got to sit there and wait till you get too tired or you wait till you're too cold.
Right. It's not! Don't come, sir! Help!
And James saying, you know, it's going to be all right. I'm just saying, look, it's not. It's not going to be all right. How can it be? We are going to die.
For God's sake! There's nobody!
The most important thing we knew, the most important thing was to stay together.
Matthew and James had now been in the water for an hour and had been swept well away from the shore.
We realised that because of the drift that we would get carried away.
Look, over there.
I'd spotted as we were going past it, you know, this lobster flag for lobster pots, and I just said to Matthew, you know, grab hold of it.
I got it!
It's a good job we did, because if we hadn't come across that, we'd have just been taken straight out to sea.
By now, friends had raised the alarm and an inshore rescue boat had started to search close to the shore. But finding two people at sea at night is a virtually impossible task.
Over here! Please!
But as soon as we saw it, obviously we thought, all right, that's it. You know, we've been here an hour or so, we're going to be safe now, everything's fine. They sent up a flare, which we felt lighted us up. And we were just so pleased.
Help!
But then the flare died down and we realised they hadn't seen us at all.
No! No, over here! Come back! Over here! Over here! Over here!
It was shortly after we noticed a helicopter come along, which was the police helicopter.
Help!
And obviously we're thinking that they'll just do a sweep of the bay, pick us up, no problem.
Over here!
And then it gets closer to us.
Over here!
It looked that the searchlight was virtually on us, but you had to actually be directly in that beam of light.
Please! Help!
But then it just passed straight by.
Come back! Please!
I think it was about 4 times that it came over, and you know, we couldn't believe it when it just flew off.
Mentally, it's like just being plunged back into the sea, like being taken out of it, and then just thrown straight back in again.
By this time, Matthew and James had been in the water for 4.5 hours. They were freezing cold and hypothermia was starting to set in.
The worst thing of all was the cold. It was painful. It was an attractive option to just let go and to just sink into the sea and just be warm. I could sleep. Not necessarily to die, although obviously that would be the outcome, but just the fact of just wanting to be warm.
I was just imagining that my parents were going to be on the shore really worried about me. I just thought, you know, it's a stupid thing to do, and now they could just like lose their son. So we just thought if we just went silent, then we, you know, both might give up. We were trying to think of songs that we knew, and I tried to remember one, I Wish You Were Here. There's just one line about 2 lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. Thought it kind of fitted the situation.
And we saw the Coast Guard helicopter.
Over here!
Then all of a sudden, it's lights on us. We knew then that they'd seen us. From knowing that you're going to die, to suddenly everything's okay. It was just amazing.
The Coast Guard's infrared camera spotted them. The RNLI lifeboat was there quickly, and the helicopter shot this video as they were pulled aboard. Matthew and James were treated for hypothermia and made a complete recovery. The sea can never be taken for granted.
I just feel that it's given me a much greater respect for the sea. You never realise, you know, that on a calm day and you're only, you know, half a mile out, that you know, something like that can happen to you.
Sometimes that's when it's most dangerous, because it's deceptive. You think it's going to be fine, but there's still currents and tides in the sea. We owe our lives to the people in the RNLI, the Coast Guard, the police. I can't express in words how grateful I am to them. I owe them my life.